Rumors are escalating as a source reports that Jordan Binnington wants out of St. Louis and may be shopped to a top contending team. In this video, we're going to break down the reasons why Jordan Binnington should become a Carolina Hurricane, so you're not going to want to miss this episode of Hattrick HQ. But before we get into it, we got to say that 91% of you guys watching these videos aren't subscribed to the channel, so you want to stay up to date on all the latest NHL news, trades, rumors. We're your home here at Hattrick HQ, so make sure you're down below and hit that subscribe button. But with that said, Darius, let's just jump right into it. A report was written by James Murphy here, who says that he wouldn't be surprised if Jordan Binnington asks for a trade out of St. Louis. He says you can tell by his body language that he isn't happy, and a direct quote says he's a gamer and he's tasted the cup before and he wants to taste it again. So he wouldn't be surprised if he does be put up on the trade block here at the deadline or even before that. And he also says here a team that he thinks could be a very interesting place for him to land is the Carolina Hurricanes, because as reported just a couple days ago, Darius, Freddie Anderson's out month to month. Kachekov is banged up. It just makes sense that this would be the perfect solution for this Carolina Hurricanes team that's kind of struggled in the playoffs before and are looking to have their star goalie, a star goalie back in the place for them.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. When you look at Jordan Binnington, I kind of agree with that report that he seems like, or he strikes me like the type of goaltender that is really engaged when his team is really good and the games mean something and they're fun. And in St. Louis right now, they're in the middle of a rebuild, a retool, whatever you want to call it. One of their best players is out with injury, and Robert Thomas as well. So they're missing some key assets there. And the games haven't been fun, and he hasn't been playing well. This season he has an 887 save percentage. It just hasn't been good for him. Well below league average, and league average has dropped in recent years as well. The scoring is up, so hasn't been really good. And like we covered on the channel just a couple days ago, the Carolina Hurricanes goaltending situation just got really interesting, actually, with Spencer Martin picking up a shutout, first of all. So shout out to him. And like I said, the NHL experience, it goes a long way. So shout out to him. But there is a world where Frederik Andersen does not play again this year. So they're going to have to find somebody else. Yes, Spencer Martin had a great performance the other night, but I don't know if he can do it long term, especially as a backup or even a starter in the NHL. And Kachekov, yes, he will be back, but that there is some cause for concern. Maybe you want to solidify that spot a little bit more, because we've seen it in the past. The Hurricanes, they've been a really good team, but they haven't been able to get over that hump either. So maybe they want a guy who can really solidify that starting position. And Jordan Binnington, when the games matter, this is a goaltender who shows up. The stats have not been there the last couple of years, but the team hasn't been good either. So I think this could be a very interesting fit. And like you wanted to get into as well, Casey, I'll credit you. You said that the Hurricanes want to get younger, and they would do that with this trade.
Yeah, definitely. On paper, the Canes have all the pieces together to make a Stanley Cup run. It's just they can't get it all to flow at one time. It's either an injury in the forward group, it's an injury in the defense group. Now it's injuries in the crease. So it makes sense for the Hurricanes. Yes, it would be tough to see Kachekov leave, because I know how much Canes fans love that guy, and it would suck to see him go, but you're getting such a great guy here in Jordan Binnington, who has that playoff experience. We've seen him just come out of nowhere and steal the playoffs for the St. Louis Blues. So it's kind of a risk that it's a high risk, high reward situation, I would definitely say. But the reason that Binnington's stats have been so bad this year is a reason I want to get into is because of St. Louis's D-core. If you go down through this D-core, they have an aging D-man in Ryan Suter, who's still pretty good, but isn't as he was a few years ago. They have a budding star here in Parayko, and other than that, besides Justin Falk, there isn't really much here. But if you switch pages to Carolina's D-core, they have a great defender in every single position. So if you put Binnington in the crease with this defense core in front of him, he will be an exceptional goalie. I think that's what he's lacking. He's getting a lot of 2-on-1 situations. We've seen him make some game-saving saves in those scenarios, but you never want to put your goaltender in those scenarios. So if you put Jordan Binnington, a guy who a lot of people are campaigning to be on this Team Canada team for the Four Nations Cup, I think it makes a lot of sense. It sucks to lose a guy guy in Kochetkov. It helps St. Louis get younger and kind of move towards that, into a little bit of a rebuild for St. Louis. But I think that's what needs to happen for the Blues, and what needs to happen for the Hurricanes is obviously to go out there and win a Stanley Cup. And if that means getting rid of a fan favorite to bring in a guy who's well known for being a solid goaltender in crunch time, I think that's what you got to do.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you bring up the Four Nations Cup as well, because a lot of people, myself included, are saying that Jordan Binnington should be maybe not the starter, but he should definitely be one of two goalies for Canada. And a lot of people are like, well, that's pretty weird. There's a lot of question marks there. His stats aren't that good this year. But I think Jordan Binnington, when he plays on a good team, he's a great goaltender, right? And not saying that he's a product of a good team, but when you look at the St. Louis Blues team that won the Stanley Cup and even the year after that, people tend to forget they're a very good team for a couple of years after that. He was a great goaltender, and it was the defense, right? They shut things down, but when things got through, he was there. He made the save. But when you have to rely on him every single night, it's not a sustainable way to play. And I don't know if that's the goaltender that you want in that position. Maybe a guy like Igor Shesterkin could hold the fort like that for a team, but maybe not Jordan Binnington. And now it's very interesting. A trade like this can go down. Maybe they get another team involved with the salary cap, because if you're trading Kochetkov for Binnington, there's about $4 million in limbo there for the Carolina Hurricanes. So they're going to have to figure that out. But I think in today's day and age in the NHL, if you want to make a trade, if you want to make something work, you can, especially if you want to get another team involved. So I think it's very interesting. Like you brought up with great points, the defensive cores, they're very different. I think that tells a very big portion of the story for at least Jordan Binnington and even Kochetkov as well. Like, I wonder what Kochetkov would look like with the St. Louis Blues. He's a great young goaltender, but maybe defense has a lot to do with it. And I think Jordan Binnington on that Carolina Hurricanes team can maybe put them over the top, but I think that they need another goaltender in there for sure, because Anderson, we don't know what's going to happen with that.
Yeah, in a perfect world, I mean, Freddie Anderson wouldn't be out month to month and we wouldn't be talking about that. But, unfortunately, injuries happen. It's a part of the game. It sucks because, if you're playing NHL franchise mode with injuries off, Carolina would have a good shot at it. But unfortunately, we can't do that in real life. So they have to work around this. Yes, Spencer Martin has looked good in a small sample size, but, you don't want to put too much faith into that because it could all crumble underneath them. So you want to stay ahead of the 8 ball here. And I know a lot of you guys, Canes fans watching, are like, why are we going to trade Kochetkov? Because if you look at this guy's stats, he's 9-2 with a .904 save percentage, a 2.42 GAA. But the big thing is in this trade is maybe you're trading away a better goaltender for your future, but you are getting a better goalie for the now. Because Carolina is in the now. They're fully developed. They're fully out of their rebuild. They're at top of their division right now, and they're just looking like an absolute wagon, with Marty Necas being an absolute demon for this team this year. So it just makes sense for them to go out, get an established Stanley Cup winning goalie for their team to make this push. But we want to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. Would you trade Kochetkov for Binnington, or would you trade Binnington for Kochetkov? Blues fans, let us know down below in the comment section. I definitely think there's going to be a few picks involved here. I don't think it's going to be 1-for-1, but it would be interesting to see how that would come about. We want to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. It helps push these videos out to all the NHL fans on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. We're on the road for 7,000 subscribers now. We just hit 6,000. Appreciate all the support we're getting from you guys here. But as always, I've been your host, KC, alongside my co-host, Darius. Keep your stick on the ice.